up, y'all? It's the Joker's Gallery right here on the Fago Lovers Network. Another episode of 5-Piece coming at you today. This time we're going to be ranking the top 5 psychopathic posse cuts of all time. There are a couple of rules we set aside before we made our list. Before we get into that, I want to introduce the panel. Joining me right here beside me on the top, you got Mike Sears, host of Speak Your Clout podcast and UFCD on Studio 17.
And the boys, boy Mike Sears, Goons Clout Gallery, 5-Piece. You know the deal.
And right down below me, we got the Larry King of the Underground, the Darby Booter, Luke the Goon.
That's a warning to all future guests. Don't make me Darby you.
It's become a verb. Darby him. And then we got a special guest joining us today, one of the co-hosts of the Juggalo Judgement podcast, Straight Edge Juggalo.
What's going on? This is Mike, Straight Edge Juggalo from Juggalo Judgement. And I'm just here because I got asked last minute-ish. But I'm excited as fuck. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, yeah, you came up with a dope idea with this posse cuts. Before we get into that, though, I want to talk about your podcast a little bit, Juggalo Judgement. I'm the one that found it. Once I got listened to it a little bit, I was like, man, this is really well done. Mike's a juggalo. You could tell by the passion he has about the shit. And just for his homie to set through all of it, it's pretty fucking cool for his non-juggalo homie to set through it. So I got to give him some props as well. And he always brings energy to it. So it's basically a podcast where a juggalo is introducing a non-juggalo to the ICP and anything psychopathic related, released, juggalo related chronologically. So you started way back, 2 years ago in the early eras, and now
Yep.
I think you're up to like the remix of Shangri-La was the one I was just recently listening to.
Yeah, that was the last one that came out so far.
You kind of sample each of the tracks, and then you get the opinion. I think it's cool to get the differing opinion because, on the podcast you listen to, Juggalo podcast, everybody's pretty much got a positive opinion of everything that comes up, but you got Shmeev on there. And he's not a juggalo that's born and bred and has nostalgia attached to these songs. So it's cool to hear what people that don't have nostalgia and feelings like that think about some of these songs. And, he does give them props when they're good. So it's dope that he's not just a hater.
Right. And the fact is, Shmi is my best friend. I've known him for more than half my life. But what's been interesting about doing that show is I also don't have some of the nostalgia that some of the other people have, because I got into juggalo music a lot later than a lot of other people did. I got in, no joke, like in late 2005, 2006. So where a lot of people were listening to this stuff so much earlier, I don't have those same connections as some of these the quote unquote old schoolers. I'm kind of like a middle child with this music because I got into it at literally probably the low point of ICP's career. But I've been doing what I can to get knowledged up, and now having my friend join me on this show where I know, a lot of shit, having my buddy who is just very socially conscious, where we get to talk about these songs. And we even reference albums that people have never heard of, which is pretty cool for me. And we missed some old stuff in the past that we're going to talk about at the turn of the new year. And then obviously whenever it gets to that point, we're going to expand over to Magic Ninja as well. So there's a lot of stuff we haven't covered yet. But I'm having a blast. As long as we keep having a blast doing it, I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, definitely give that Juggalo Judgement podcast a follow. Check them out. Like I said, really well done, and you can tell there's a lot of passion behind it. So anything like that, Juggalo related, I want to support. So definitely want to have you on here. And you came up with the idea of the posse cuts, which is one we haven't done yet. And like I said, there's a couple restrictions we had. We didn't want to have Riders or Lotus in it because that's not really a posse cut, because that's a separate entity all to themselves. So that was pretty much the only restrictions I think we had. Other than that, it just had to be psychopathic and had to be more than 4 people, because if it's just 3, it's basically, somebody just showing up and collabing on somebody else's track.
I just figured 4 more people. Lotus and Riders are their own entities. So, yeah, it didn't make sense to really have that, because you could literally have a list of all of those. And I just want to point something out is I actually did this list with the homie Jiggles back in April. But when I looked at my list, I was like, fuck, almost all of the shit is changing, because I thought of songs that I was like, holy shit, how did I forget this or this or this? So I'm really looking forward to doing this, because I feel like the posse cut is fairly underrated. you know, a lot of times you're just thinking about the core person who's doing a song or a core group. But man, when you get the right guest people together, some magic can fucking happen. So I'm looking forward to seeing what you guys come up with too.
I actually had one song that I had on the list and then took off because I didn't think it counted as a posse cut because it started out as a Dark Lotus song. I had Echo Side on there eventually because that's one of my favorite tracks all time, but it was technically Dark Lotus first. Like I got the single and it was a Dark Lotus single, so I took it off. So I didn't want to cheat with the list with that. But like you said, your list had already changed in a few months. This is definitely the list that when I've put together has the most scratched out, to where I wrote a song down and then thought of something else and had to scratch it out and move it up. So go ahead and get into the list. Started off at my 5 spot. It's going to be one off the DJ Clay Let 'Em Bleed mixtape, Kept Grinding.
Just sit back on this track like a little bitch and reminisce, but instead I'll kick a little history all about the hatchet. By this time in the game, most motherfuckers, they done fell apart. In these years we still shining, and we just now getting our start. In the city, posse jumped on the scene, and we was mad crewed up. In the end when shit got rough and tough, it was just the two of us. While you was up in the club, getting your grind and your sip on, we was in the parking lot, hitting up cars, getting our flyers on. Did my first show when I was 16 and still pulling my schemes. Jay holding out a drive through window at Burger King to support our dreams. Seemed like yesterday the world wasn't ready for 2 clown freaks, but we kept grinding. Now who on whose dick? Little bitch shit.
We kept hustling, we kept grinding, we kept hustling, we kept grinding, we kept hustling, we kept grinding, we kept hustling, we kept grinding.
I woke up in the morning with my head on backwards. Went from street living to an underground master. Went from selling baggies and alleys to selling bangers. From here to Cali and rolling with the Psychopathic family. I started out with crazies, hooked up with Violent J. The rest is still being written like a biography. Don't think you know my story, cause there's too much to tell. Just know that I've been on the grind and I've been doing well. Since the days of making tapes in the basement, we came a long way. I like to see you do the same shit. Monoxide and I'm twisted with a Z. Carnival representing till I die.
Classic.
Of course.
I love just the storytelling of that song. It tells the entire story of all the dudes, you know, how they sound. The Psychopathic Twisted really stands out to me. Like, so dope. We released it twice. About the Most Tasteless being released twice. It was just a dope ass flow. Like ICP started it out talking about like how they were struggling in the beginning. Then Twisted comes on, talks about signing the label. Blaze comes on, talking about how he had to prove his point whenever he fucking didn't have a deal yet, but he was on Riders trying to prove a point. And then you got ABK, and it just went up. This was the whole family area. Fuck, there was like 8 people in that fucking track. DJ Clay raps about how he started out on the fuck off tour. Just a really dope song, and it chronologically told a really good story. It was like the history. It was like the history of Psychopathic to a beat.
Yeah. Then the thing that stands out about that track though is Blaze's line at the end. Don't believe me? Check out my next CD, Last House on Dead Street.
Last House on Dead Street.
Still waiting for that album, man.
Yep.
But no, that track I think caps off that mixtape really well in general though. Like the Let 'Em Bleed series was pretty solid, and to have that big of a track, that's the longest track that they'd done up to that point. So, I mean, that's 10 minutes of them just telling Psychopathic's history. So I totally get why you'd have that on there.
I talked about it whenever we were doing the top 5 Shaggy 2 Dope songs with Siznak when he brought up a song from the DJ Clay mixtape. I'd slept on the DJ Clay mixtapes. I figured they were just kind of like remixes that weren't going to bring anything new, and I didn't know it was going to be new music. I just thought it was remixes. And I was at a gathering like Autograph Tent, and they played the whole mixtape throughout, and Kept Grinding was definitely the one that I heard like over the speaker, and it's like, man, if they're bringing this kind of fire on the fucking album, I'm gonna go get that whole fucking box set. And I went and got the box set after hearing that shit, so I wanted it to be on my list.
Oh yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right, number 5 for me. This is just 3 MCs, but I don't give a fuck. I had to put it on here, man. We're going to 2004. Off the Dirty History record, ABK Retaliate with Twisted.
Retaliation is a must. Watch your back, stay on cue. Shoulda never fuck with us. Now you got me after you. DVS and BDI, quick to jump and take your life. What the hell you think this is? Ain't no way you walking by. If you see him, let him know just how far you letting shit go. You fucking with some OG Detroit weirdos. We bombing on whoever, dirty situation chasing and making you fucking bleed. Put you on a permanent vacation. Hammer time on your face with my right boot. Footloose, river dance, do the jit into its blood you spit. My homies twisted that you listed. Have you all hemmed up like, what the fuck is this? We bigger than you thought the whole crew be representing. Pistol whipping all haters, have them twitching and flipping retaliation. Beat them down, call up all the fellas. We've been known in the hood as some eyeball swellers. Retaliation, run them down, get them where it hurts.
Get on up.
Retaliation, run them down, get them where it hurts.
Get on up.
Retaliation, run them down, get them where it hurts.
Get on up.
Retaliation, run them down, get them where it hurts.
Get on up. I'm in the back with the windows cracked. I heard shots with somebody on the side of me. Bitch, I ain't pop. Give me a second to shoot back. And I just happened to be smoking a blunt and got the hops in my lap. Now I'm pulling up behind you. Steady trying to hide out in traffic, but you know that I'ma find you.
That shit is just hard, you know. Monoxide said something like, I'm in the back with the windows cracked. I heard shots. Somebody on the side of me. Bitch, I ain't pop. That shit's hard, man. And then Killer came through. Madrox bodied it. So I had to put that on there, man. Retaliate by anybody. Killer. 04. Dirty history.
Anytime those dudes, or add in Blaze with this as well, anytime those dudes were on a track back in the day together, it was like they were trying to one up each other. It was so good. They were better together than they were apart. It's like whenever they were on a track together, they were all elevating each other by trying to match what the other one was bringing. It's super dope. It was so fresh back then.
Oh yeah, I love Hatchet Warrior, but that album is just as good. Their history, man.
I think that obviously ABK and Blaze were like their own duo, but like I feel like we didn't get enough ABK and Twisted, like in Killer's first run.
Yeah.
Like, because they did some fucking amazing tracks together, even if it was just like solo members of Twisted, like
Ghetto Neighbor,
stuff from Ghetto Neighbor, Come and Play With Me.
Oh.
Like they had some great shit together, and it's a crime that we didn't get more of it back then. Like kudos, now we got ESN, but like I don't know what could have been, 15 plus years ago.
That's the studio was so busy back then. They just could, you're putting out Lotus, Radas, Twisted, ICP, and there's some, they got, we were talking about it. They had a track with everybody rapping on it that was on the label that lasted 10 minutes. There were so many acts on the label at that time. It was just hard getting studio time. But yeah, that is a pretty good point. You'd like to hear some more ABK with Twisted from those classic days.
Right. All right, yeah, my number 5, I guess, is off of Freak Show, Maniac Killer.
Killer, blood get spilled. See me on the streets, bitch, don't get killed. My mind is on my ex, and my ex is on my side.
Tell me.
Who wanna die?
Tell me.
Who wanna die? I'm a maniac killer, blood get spilled. See me on the streets, bitch, don't get killed. My mind is on my ex, and my ex is on my side.
Tell me.
Who wanna die?
Tell me.
Who wanna die?
Watch me, I tippy toe. Richie, your death is slow. Don't run, nowhere to hide. One more, one homicide. Who cared when I was hungry? Passed out, dead with no money. Mama, she cleaned your toilets. Mama, she bought my bullets. Bullets can be so pretty. One chop, ugly and bloody. They're not. I am no sicko. Your life not worth a nickel. No, I will not eat you. Your kind, I will defeat you. Mama, never expected. Mama, her pain.
I'm a maniac killer, blood get spilled. See me on the streets, bitch, don't get killed.
The intro is so funny because it's this Vampiro like talking, but I think Jay is like behind his shoulder because there's at one point where like he's talking about murdering and stabbing and shit, and you can hear Jay yelling stuff in the background.
There's the track on it that's uncut on Forgotten Freshness 3. Yeah.
When Vampiro gets high.
It's called when Vampiro gets high, and he's like, "You got that dude from Twisted, Jamie Monoxide," and Violent J's like, "Jamie Madrox," and he's like, "Oh shit, that's that dude from Twisted." Yeah, he's fucked up. It takes him Violent J's literally coaching him what to say, and he still fucks it up.
So yeah, he's definitely behind him, like trying to get him to like do the shit right.
Straight up.
The hook is really dope.
Song is amazing.
Yeah, I love that fucking song. I'll be the maniac,
K-double-L-A.
They fucking throats, have sex with all the bodies. Yeah, fucking Madrox stole that shit. That was before Monoxide was bodying everybody. Madrox got him that one.
Yeah.
I like Blazes that closes it out. It's really good too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He killed that shit.
Yep.
It's been a minute since I heard that. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it.
It's real good.
The everyone Blaze was dropping motherfucking albums like this.
Yeah. Gangsta as shit.
Yeah.
All right. So my number 5 is actually a song that was given away for free in 2006. ICP, Twisted, Blaze, and Boondocks, Hatchet House.
It's Christmas. Have a jolly one. Hanukkah. Kwanzaa. Get pumped up with your people, bitch. Holidays. Santa Claus shoveling his fat ass down your chimney. In the Hatchet House, it's the holiday season again. A time for love and revenge.
No heat in the home, a snowman is in the living room.
Melting away from all the weed that I'm hitting too. Dope is right here.
Gorilla pimping the hose, got my pants around my ankles, butt naked under mistletoe.
Who wanna kiss my Holly Berry? Sipping eggnog with gin and cherry.
I'm dressed in all green like a Christmas wreath, with the red trim, tying matching laces in the sneaks.
And I just peeped Santa sipping Blazes eggnog. You trying to titty fuck my sister while she's wearing the bra. We got that eviction notice on the door. We out caroling, trying to pay the bills that come barreling in.
We jump up and blow they mouth out.
Can't stop this family love at the Hatchet House.
Happy holidays is easy to say when there's no hills of bells stacked all in your way. It's okay. We smoking, we joking round for both. It's okay. And thinking how I'm glad that we're broken. It's so
in the Hatchet House, Rudolph's got a gang of hoes bouncing they big titties all over his red nose. We don't sip cocoa in our footies. We wear hoodies and rob little kitties of their goodies.
This was one of the first holiday type tracks I was hearing, and I love how bouncy the instrumental is because it's just really feel good. Because I mean, you had ICP doing Santa's a fat bitch and Red Christmas and stuff, but a lot of the tracks were still kind of negative tinged, and this one they're talking about there's bills and they ain't got no power and shit. But for some reason, something was just so positive about that. And one of the things I love about the track itself is there's no full verses. They're just doing trade-offs throughout. It's going Jay's doing 2 lines, then Jamie's doing a line, then Monoxide's doing 2 lines, and Shaggy's doing a line. They're just consistently moving the whole way through. I play that song so much during the holidays that it always brings a smile off. I never skip it whenever it comes on during Christmas time. I used to listen to that going home from midnight mass on Christmas Eve. I just play that on repeat walking home.
You talk about it being a positive sounding one where the whole crew's on there. It almost reminds me of a track that could have been recorded in the Wizard of the Hood era, where it has that positive, the Diamond Rain, Jay's is on that positive tip, and it's got those guys in it. So I always wondered if that was maybe one of the leftovers from the Wizard of the Hood.
I don't know. Maybe that beat could have been kind of recycled. I don't know who produced that one, but I don't know. Boondocks was still kind of new at the time, so he didn't have as many lines on it. But there's still stuff that kind of ties in with the rest of the stuff. Jamie Madrox has 3 lines in a row, and then all of a sudden Jay comes up. He's like, "Meanwhile, I think Santa Claus is a pedophile." It still ties into your typical ICP shit. Yeah. But for them to do a track like that around for Christmas time, I just thought was really fucking solid, and it always stands out to me.
That's when ICP positive shit is done right. I think we were talking about it with Darby. When it's got that positive shit, but it's also got that wicked shit. If it ain't got the wicked shit, you just end up with a happy, lost and found, or a found sound where there's no nothing that's wicked to kind of offset it. You just get too happy positive to be an ICP track. It's like,
Right.
you're fucking Killer Clowns. You got to have some kind of fucking wickedness in it. If it's too happy friendly, then it just doesn't work as well. Move it up to my number 4, talking about being not happy friendly. Bury Me Alive off of Most Tasteless.
Keep it the realest, like everybody else doing that. I'm in the back in black, chilling with the bloody axe. When we attack, we have your whole crew shook. You fake hoes, no twisted blow to goddamn boat.
Man, I don't give a fuck. Perpetrators, you can suck my nuts. Say you bought the album, but don't know a single cut. Use a bandwagon rider, giving juggalos a bad name. We'll fuck you up for that. Bitches ain't no fucking game. Fuck all that shit that they print, bro. Magazines is toilet paper glorified for the assholes. Fuck publication, syndication, music segregation. Cause we run beneath the nation. So bury me alive.
Bury me alive. Run with the psychopathic hatchet there.
Bury me alive.
Bury me alive. Keep it in your clique, fuck the outside.
With the flurry of fuck shots. Goddamn, they ruthless. With the flurry of fuck shots. Goddamn, they ruthless.
Bury me alive. Run with the psychopathic hatchet there.
Bury me alive.
Bury me alive. Keep it in your clique, fuck the outside.
Bury me alive.
Bury me alive. Run with the psychopathic hatchet there.
Bury me alive.
Bury me alive. Keep it in your clique, fuck the outside.
Talked about Jay's intro earlier. I thought the one on here where he's talking about getting them on Road Rules and got Blaze on the Real World cast and shit like that. I always laugh my ass off at that.
Got to perform it after Mace.
Right before Coolio, right after Mace. And then, like I said, the concept of the song, it couldn't have been better for what Psychopathic was trying to be. Their fucking motto at the time was the label, it runs beneath the streets. And they're Bury Me Alive. I don't want to be fucked around with the mainstream. So I definitely wanted to get that on there. Put that at my folk spot.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
dope.
Good choice, brother. My number 4, we're going to go to 2001. I think it was on the Pendulum at first. Then it came on the Cryptic Collection 2. ICP and Twisted, I don't care.
Say I talk too much. I don't care, I talk too much.
Mama say I failed in life. I don't care, I failed in life. Daddy says I drink too much. I don't care, I drink too much. People say I'm headed nowhere, and I don't fucking care. Jimmy Johnson's gonna die. Sarah Susie's gonna die. Everybody's dying slow. I don't give a fuck. I'm only short like $50. I couldn't give 50 fucks. I could really use some help. You could go and fuck yourself.
Everybody's gonna die. Terror falling from the sky. Mothers with their children crying. I could give a fuck.
They
Why?
say you'll never walk again. Well, like the Sega M.
I think somebody stole my truck.
Tell someone who gives a fuck. How much do they charge in there? Wait a minute, I don't care.
I'ma shoot you in the face.
I'll tell you how the bullets taste. Critics say you imitate. I don't give a fuck, you late.
No 50 million people dying.
Oh, I'm crying. Tell me all the things you saw as if I give a fuck at all. You see me sitting in the chair, yeah, but I ain't even there. Everything you saying to me, go right through me.
If I was to pick it up, I'd have to give a fuck.
Man.
That track is sick.
Mama
Yeah.
said I fail in life. I don't care. What do you say? What's the main event on Raw?
I was just gonna say that.
Fuck it. What's the main event on Raw?
Oh, it's so hard. Well, plug the snake in. Oh, man. That beat is crazy. Fucking. Oh, man. They all kill it. Yeah.
They were doing like some Run DMC shit on that track.
Yeah,
Like there was one line and then answered by another dude. So, like you could tell that he finished the line. It wasn't written by the guy that started it, and then the other dude finished it. And it was dope as shit.
like
Came out on the pendulum, like you said.
Just trading bars, you know what I'm saying?
That track sounds like straight up like WWE wrestling theme. Like that sounds like some shit Jim Johnston made.
Yeah,
Could have been in a video game.
No Mercy and shit. Yeah.
Straight up.
I like the guitars. That shit's banging, yo. So I don't care. ICP and Twisted, my number 4.
That's what I have on my. That was my original 4, and it got marked out. I had that on there. I got tons of markouts on my lists.
I do the same thing, brother.
So many good posse cuts. Whenever we were talking about doing the list, I was like, man, it's gonna be a struggle to get to 5. Then I've got like 12 written down.
All right, yeah, I guess my number 4 is off Psychopathics from Outer Space. Redneck Ho 99.
Fuck that bitch! I'm from the big city, and I'm finna bust a nut on that one big titty. Oh shit, it's Wilbur's daughter, fondling pig nuts, and I caught her. Bitch, drop them hard balls. She dropped this sack, then dropped the drawers. She looked like a crow, that's all I know, but I still fuck that redneck hoe. Bitch, use a hoe, and hoe use a bitch. Everybody know that you's a funky, funky bitch.
I know a redneck bitch named Ray Leader, straight stack. Biscuit in the pocket, nipples look like flapjacks. Chicken face bitch, 2 or 3 good teeth, but a bath with sugar. She's a big fuzzy peach. Now I remember when she milked the cow. Sees a hay in her mouth, ass hanging all out. Got me itching on my balls and I'm rubbing my way. That damn girl, pretty than Sinead Twang. Hey there, Missy, I'm from the east, and I wouldn't mind laying in the hay for a piece. You can rub my butt like you do your paws, or I can hide my meat in between your jaws. I'd even hum a little super sweet black lip back when you stroke and caress my tender nuts. You like it rough, bitch? Told you I'ma bring the pain. She said, ain't that damn waving by John Wayne?
Rapping to this bitch with a redneck, a chicken ass redneck, a fat bubbly bitch with a redneck, turkey funky chicken neck. It's twisted with a Z. You redneck hoe, is you fucking with me? Nothing scabbed up like a horse's ass, but I'ma tap it anyway and use your hair for my nut rag, bitch. What the fuck? Smells like a pile of dead fish in your butt. Your shirt's all covered with pins and fishing tackle, and I saw more teeth on the apple.
Damn, I didn't think about that one. That's a good one.
I know it's so good. Basically, kind of like a remake, adding Twisted to Redneck Ho off of Carnival Carnage. You know what? What can I say, bro? It's fucking. Well, it's so dope.
They drop the beat out and Twisted comes in with their fucking different. You can just tell Twisted's like out to prove how fucking good they are. It's almost like I remember flashing back to like Pumpkin Carver, where he's like, "All right, you've had your time. Now shut the fuck up." Yeah. Like Twisted's just out there showing off, and that's what they were doing on that fucking track too. Whenever that beat drops and they come in with their shit, it's like, "Oh man, god damn, that's fucking dope."
Monoxide's verses are so funny too, bro. He's
I love his verse.
Talking shit the whole time.
See more teeth on an apple.
Yeah,
I love that line.
Smells like a pile of dead fish in your butt.
That is like the definitive version of that song, isn't it?
Yeah,
like, I almost never listened to the original because I just think that ICP had more fun with that remake. And having Twisted on just brings it to a no respect to John Kickjazz, but man, Twisted on that track, like another level.
Yeah. And it came out in that era where everything they put out was can't miss. I mean, they were putting out fucking singles on a comic book, and some of those comic book singles that are just throwaway singles that are on some of our top 5 lists is how good that they were putting shit out at that time. It's fucking crazy.
So good.
Seriously. All right. So my number 4 is off of the very first ICP CD I ever bought. So this is fucking left field for y'all. 2005 on Forgotten Freshness Volume 4. ICP, Vanilla Ice, Fresh Kid Ice, Fish and Grits, and MC Breed. Swallow this nut.
Aloha, ho, Big Joe on the intro. My dick in your mouth, it's that simple. I'm Bonnet J with a gang of dick. For you and them rabbits that you hanging with. My clown pink glows in the dark, don't be scared. And if something starts tickling your ass, it's my beard, bitch. I'm freaky, you need to be slobbing me down and swallow me up. Chinaman, follow me up.
Ripping hoes from state to state, dick in her mouth, nuts on her face. Daddy Longstroke try to kill her tonsils, cause I love the way she choked on my Johnson. Sucks this dick like you do a Slurpee, and the sounds you make me more horny. So swallow this nut, cause you love the taste, and if you don't, it'll be on your face.
She sexy, don't spit it out. She call it, keep it in your mind. All in the face, make a real juggalo. Won't say it straight, we all see. She sexy, don't spit it out. She call it, keep it in
it in the face, bitch. Let me bust this. Too many bitches acting like they don't suck. Then become a rider when they taste that nut.
The beat that they got is some like late 90s, early 2000s R&B shit. And Jay's got this like light flow that just he rides that beat so well. But then everybody else is complimenting it like insanely good. Like when we at Juggalo Judgement, we covered MC Breed's The New Prescription, and we were like, man, this dude is so fucking good. And we got to this track, we were like, this is an MC Breed song, and he just let ICP and all these other guys jump on because they all kill it. But the best part, in my opinion, is Vanilla Ice just reusing part of his verse from Hook back onto The Extreme from his first album. Like, I played Vanilla Ice's first album like crazy when I was younger. So seeing him on an ICP album, thinking, what the fuck? I need to hear this. And it's like, oh, it's a song about blowjobs. Fucking awesome. Hey, ladies, fuck off and lick nuts. Thank you, Shaggy.
And listening to the Juggalo Judgement podcast, I know that was like one of the first ICP releases you got was like Forgotten Freshness 4 and
the first one I bought.
So that's dope. It's, you know, we always talk about how Forgotten Freshness 1 and 2 for me and Mike was the first release we ever got. It was the first one that came out as us being Juggalos, so I can definitely relate to how a song off that album is going to make your top 5.
Right. Yeah.
Moving up to my 3 spot has already been mentioned, so we don't got to talk about it very long. Maniac Killer. I love that. Everybody brings it. I was talking about on that other song how it seemed like everybody elevates each other. And I think that's how this one was as well. Everybody's verses got doper and doper as you went. But I really like how Shaggy starts it out though, even though it's not really a flow or anything. But I thought the way he starts it out is super fresh. I'm Shaz. I don't know. Maybe you heard of me. The Southwest Strangler, the one guy from ICP. No. Cool. He's fucking just, he's just talking, but he's doing that classic Shag shit to where he makes it so fucking fresh. And then, like I said, Madrox comes in and kills it with I Be the Maniac, K-I-double-L-A. Hey. And then Blaze ends it. He's fucking dope with it. Jay's got that fucking verse about like how he's angry that his mom has to clean these people's toilets and shit. The money is how he bought his bullets and shit. Like, he got dark on that fucking shit. And then the chorus is really fucking dope. Everything you look for in a fucking posse cut. So I'll agree that it should be in the top 5, and I'll put it in my 3 spot.
Yeah. So my 3 spot, we going to 2001. This is in my top 5 psychopathic albums of all time. I'm talking about Legit Homie, Wallace Gina Hood, Hatchet, Execution.
I represent Southwest, Delaware, Jefferson, Festival, Run, Redeem, Miranda, Mexican, Mia, Valley, JP, murder, heroin addicts, with everything from saws, screwdrivers, and automatics. I like killing anybody, I'm like anybody killer. I'm stomping through your city like a little Godzilla. I cut your dick and balls off and make you eat them, then choke your rest to death so you won't even need them, punk. You ever felt like you were freaking at night? Outcasted to the shadows cause you don't look right. Hypnotized by the eyes from the average motherfucker. Chrome to his dome, if he cries he's a buster. There's certain rituals for being ghetto gifted. Keep your ass underground when it's dark, go ballistic. I'm representing all the crazy juggalos with a hatchet in their hand, smoking blunts at the show. Think about it, you gotta give it up to Blaze. I mean, the guy is fucking dead in 47 different ways. Yet he's leaving heaven hanging and chilling with his boys, at least until they get his room ready in the nether void. For now he hits the joint until it ain't none left. Which ain't bad for a dead guy supposedly with no breath. Death ain't scary, look at Blaze, he's straight. Even with the maggots and all, he looks great.
Amazing. You gotta have that OG CD because streaming don't have it. It's whack, but it's just fucking fire, man. ICP, Twisted, Blaze, anybody killer. Jay killed that shit, man. He said I grab my hatchet and I go juggle local like a crazy assassin. Oh man, amazing shit, man. That's a posse cut. Samples the Above the Law, another execution off their Living Like Hustlers album. Classic shit, man. Acid Execution, Blaze It Homie.
Sin killed that hook.
Yep.
Sin's dope, man. He doesn't get a lot of credit, but he does some dope ass shit, man.
So funny because I hated Juggalo when it first came out, right? And then DC Fago guy got me to get that album because he reviewed it. I said, let me get this shit. And I love the album now.
Yeah, Jay wrote most of it. The first one, Cracked Tiles.
Yeah, that's why Cracked Tiles is good.
Yeah, that's the good one.
It came out like the same time as Hatchet Warrior. I remember that. And my boy PJ was playing. I was like, I ain't feeling this, but now I love it. Yep.
All right. My number 3 off Psychopathics from Outer Space 3 is Hatchet Man.
We hold them up. We swing them side to side. We hold them up round here. We hold them up. We hold them up. We swing them side to side. We hold our hatchets high. We hold them up. We hold them up. We swing them side to side.
It's the heavy sound, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. See, this how we get down. Hatchet Man stands with lows and less on his chest from all reaches of the planet. No damage to the way I rap. That's when the man had a plan for me. Yes, he stands with me. I'm a side on any side with me. Yes, he ran with me. Goddamn, I'm a fan of he. And every other motherfucker rapping when I see. Ready to bear the burden like Christ, spotlight upon it in the dead of night. Slice through the misguided barricades with this hot knife. Please excuse with this hatchet, right? Not a fad. Cause when he comes round, get him pissed. You better lay down. My spit. I hope you like now. I represent the psychopathic sound.
What it means to me really don't matter to nobody but me. Really don't like where everybody can see and everybody can even be everybody but me. Is it the power that we possess that'll make a motherfucker hate us unless we wanna act like every other person and shun the rest? That's why the best wear a Hatchet Man in the middle of their motherfucking chest. Don't tempt to ever test unless you're wearing a vest. I suggest another thing less. When I reps my set, my heart, don't question that or I wait in the dark. Wait for you and let the Hatchet Man spark. Listen up and let the big dog bark. Hatchet in the air from the motherfucking start. For that I put a big ass hole in your heart. Round here, we hold them up. We hold them up. We swing them side to side. We hold our hatchets high. We hold them up.
We hold them up around here. It's got everybody, bro.
Oh man, that's UFCD's theme song.
Yeah.
From season 1.
Yep.
Jay, Shags, Boondocks, ROC's on that bitch. Blaze is on that bitch. DJ Clay is on that bitch. It's the whole crew. That's like the height of the family era shit right there.
Yeah, that's a kept grinding fucking era where they've got a 10-minute fucking track with everybody that's on the label.
Yep.
Yeah, they was running deep back then, man.
Yeah.
That's a really good song.
That instrumental, like that's one of the ones that really does sound like it fits on Psychopathics from Outer Space. Like it's got like a trippy sound to it, and it like that fits really well. It's just I haven't listened to that in a long time. I think it's just because it's a long song and I gotta be in a mood to listen to it. But no, people got some fucking dope ass verses on there. ROC's I remember was really fucking good. Like I gotta re-listen to that soon. Shit.
Yeah, I'm sure Mike hears it all the time because it's UFCD's basically theme song. So
yeah, great show. Studio 17, Siznak, Brooklyn, myself. It's classic psychopathic albums battle each other. Well, underground juggalo shit. Great show. Be back soon, hopefully, Brooklyn. Come on, man.
Get back from Disneyland.
Too busy being a princess down there.
Oh shit. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it's like an anthem for Psychopathic back then. Like literally everybody on the label riding deep.
Classic.
All right. Number 3, we're gonna go to a Hallowicked track from 2003. ICP, Cottonmouth Kings, Esham, Bone Thugs, and Tech 9. Fuck it.
Wonka, baby.
Halloween. Halloween Walker. Just at 18.
I brought her back to a mosh pit.
What you do then?
I split some craniums in half and caved a few weeds. Before long, I'm standing there alone. I shut the party down for Bone Thugs, Tech 9, Cottonmouth, and Esham.
Incoming, I'm running up, dropping them bombs, still gunning. I'm willing and ready for war. Get down with the cops from ICP, VONE, and the Cottonmouth Kings. Bring it how we bring it, dog. On the wicked Wonka Halloween.
Like, hey, I'm finally J hate, we screaming Mayday. Cause Bone and ICP a fucking payday. We give away hate, but we already millionaire. Rapper haters slappers, we get shit, believe it though. We tight like alligator snappers.
No from dog, we gun clappers, bitch niggas slappers and hoe mackers. City street slick rappers, but better known as wig crackers, lead packers. Ask my nigga Tech 9, cock it back for Esham and let it loose to they spine.
Every man should be stomping, we wicked, wicked walking. It's wicked when you walking within the thug pit. Every man should be stomping, we wicked, wicked walking. This kind of mosh pit, you get your rig split.
Who the motherfucker in the pit talking shit? Who the motherfucker that want the wig split? Who the motherfucker that's down for the crown? Who the motherfucker in here right now?
Shaggy jumps in the pit with these hatchets and swinging them. Strictly for the purpose of splitting some cranium shit. We be Illuminati at the stuck pit though. Treating fake thugs like a hoe. Tell them D-Lo spit.
Now what the fuck you thinking you can stop my shine? Put your money where your mouth is, I'll take every dime. Then run down the line, damn right I'm getting mine. With a fine ass bitch, getting head sipping wine.
Hallows Eve, Halloween, Hallowicked, all the same. Fuck a trick or treat, I treat a trick with some game.
It was on the same album I bought because of that Hallowicked compilation. This track, well, there's the two versions because you got the regular one with that rock-based instrumental, and then you have the remix on the Hallowicked compilation, which the beat is arguably way worse. And then Esham's verse is changed and extended, which is arguably worse. As much as I enjoy Eminem, man, his original verse was fucking devastating.
Yeah, they took
What
out
do you say? He'll cut his head off and throw it in the middle of 8 Mile or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
talking about D12.
yeah.
He went hard on that shit.
That was one of the first tracks I ever heard Tech 9 on. So I'm hearing this dude rapping fast. I'm like, what the fuck is this shit? So I'm loving that back then. But it also has one of my favorite lines, single lines in all of rap. And it's from none other than Daddy X. And his line, I ain't got $1 million, bitch. I'm fucking broke. Because I too do not have $1 million and I'm fucking broke. I relate.
Spending all my change on that endo smoke.
Okay, I don't relate to that, but that's aside the point.
I love when Check was like, bitch, where's your antennas? He's like from Money Mike from Next Friday. That shit is fire, man.
Yeah.
That track,
what a
that
tour.
Track, you got everybody who was on that tour linking up to do that track. And there's just some good shit. That was one of the first things I ever heard. Because I haven't listened to a lot of like old rap, but like Bone Thugs, I wasn't listening to a lot of their stuff. So hearing that was just kind of jarring, but I'm like, wait, this fucking works though. This is cool as shit. So like you got people who are a bunch of different styles of rap all on that track, and they all kill it.
Oh yeah, that's a dope one.
Violent J. Hey, that shit is so fire, bro. I love that shit.
So fucking good.
Like I said, that tour, the Wicked Willy Wonka tour, it's got everybody from that. Arguably the best tour ever, the best lineup.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say Hatchet Rising. A lot of people will say that one.
Hatchet Rising, my favorite. That's number 2. I mean, that was it.
Yeah.
Tech had the red hair.
Yeah. Before his hair started falling out from down it too much, like in that documentary.
God.
No Busy Bone though, man. He my favorite member of Bone, you know. But
yeah. He was probably had a warrant.
He was drunk.
probably had a warrant and couldn't leave the fucking state. Like whenever the Amazing Jekyll Brothers tour was going on and Monoxide couldn't leave, so I didn't get to see Twisted '99 at the fucking Jekyll Brothers tour because fucking Monoxide was on probation, couldn't leave the fucking state.
Yeah, I couldn't see him at the Cleveland show for the Black Rain tour, Dark Lotus, because he had a warrant out for his arrest in Cleveland, so he didn't come to the show.
That fucking sucks.
I know.
All right, we're at the 2 spot now. This was going to come off of a 2000 release, Bizarre Bizarre. It's going to be the final track of one of those albums, Crystal Ball.
Crystal ball,
all I'm seeing thugs, both catching and firing slugs.
Paper for drugs.
I see a line waiting on block G's a mile long, all trying to be strong.
It's the same old song.
But when I'm looking into everybody's faces, they souls are headed other places. And they ain't worried about paying them dues down here,
Because they motherfucking future's crystal clear.
the focus switches to you, and it ain't good. All mad cause someone rolls up out the neighborhood. Check yourself, and judgment was passed. Yo, you be in hell.
Right up in the asshole.
The hating will get you if you let it. Pack your speedos, I hear it's hot. Where you headed? I'm trying to tell you now.
When the Grim Reaper calls.
You don't wanna be asked out, gripping your crystal ball.
Crystal ball is alright. Play that you all belong. Rockin' my crystal ball is alright. Play that you all belong. Rockin' my crystal ball is alright. Play that you all belong. Rockin' my crystal ball is alright. Play that you all belong.
Look into my crystal ball, it's all black. And everybody's frozen in time, front to back. They're controlled by the matrix of mind, body, and soul. And I'm branded by the system, a carnival freak show. I see the pain and the lies, cause nothing is disguised. It's as simple as me seeing the death in the demon's eyes. I'm hiding my sights from the truth of my crystal ball. Believe me when I say it, we coming for all of y'all.
Just
Ball's good.
one of the running themes on this show for me is the closing tracks. A lot of them are on my top fives, and this is one that just doesn't miss. I think Monoxide probably has my favorite. Looking in my crystal ball, it's all black, and everybody frozen in time front to back. he stowed the show on that one a little bit, but I dig the way the song ends. It's just so mellow. It got that rain at the end, and the chorus kind of drowns out with the rain. This is a really fucking dope way to end an album. Pendulum's Promise is the other closer off there. I was thinking about putting that one on there as well.
Doesn't Crystal Ball it fades out, it has that rain, and then you have the woman's voice singing, and then the chorus comes back. Like, doesn't it kind of go back up to it? That's such a cool effect. Like, I love the fake like ending. Love that shit.
The dead smoking on trees and drinking alcohol. Oh my god. Juggalo Love got each other's backs and shit.
That's some of the first time you were hearing ICP and Twisted together on tracks too. So 2000 era, it's still new that you're hearing that shit. So it really stood out whenever they had the whole posse on there laying down, because usually on those final tracks they reserved it just for ICP. This might have been the first final track that had any guest on it, and Twisted fucking schooled it.
Yep.
So I'll put that at my 2 spot.
Nope.
Number 2, we go to 1998. OG Most Tasteless, Meat Cleaver.
Same.
Twisted.
Fuck. Same.
Yeah.
That's my number 1. So we'll go ahead and throw that in there.
Rolling the dream like Martin Luther King. Hesitators pause while we crack they jaws. Swooping over they town like Super Balls. Like rolling bones in the zone like that. Making suckers spasm so hard they lungs collapse. Twisted the sound. Something that's your worst nightmares couldn't fuck with. Prepare to duck, bitch, cause I'm running with a meat cleaver. And if you missed it, the name is Twisted. Shags and Jays. From the NY, your misery, the red-eyed invasion. Minority and jump steady, plotting retaliation. Suffocated dirty cats, player hated gats. We pack it, Scullies and army jackets. Headed out of psychopathic. I got a plan, so stack the ammo in the trunk. The word is they downtown, we don't front. Spark the blunt, give them what they want. Psycho thugs, loaded slugs, loco. En la cabeza, getaway rides. En cerveza, stimulation para mi caco, pato, rebatao. Muchacho, cock slow, estoy borracho. There go that Mark Acho. My shit is jammed for you plan, but he's wounded. Badly, move quick or pull back me. Being chased down this dark alley. I'm on that ass, minority hollering. Acaba, pull out my blade, carved it in him like a manzana. No back to the ride, florid corpses, no remorses. Psychopathic and Spanish side, we joining forces. twisted. Yo loco insane clown posse. Psychopathic records para siempre.
If I smell garlic, my head hurts, cause my brain is cursed by voodoo wizards. My skin turns blue and I start to shake. My tongue comes out like a snake. Tunga, bunga, huli kupo. That's my Ugandan voodoo flow. You don't know what it meant till the next day you wake up with your dick in your homie's butt. I might grab your face, twist your neck and then let it go. And then Shaggy climbs up my back and we attack and hit you like a 10-foot ninja. I paint my face like a clown. Other times I paint it like Sting and come down the rafters up at the mall and throw old folks to the ropes.
Shaggy's verses are so fucking good too.
Boom bop, boom boom boom, whatever the fuck. That's the side of my.
Yeah, that's my Ugandan voodoo flow. You don't know what it meant till the next day you wake up with your dick
in your homie's butt.
The nigga Jay said, "Oh, I love this flow. I know the whole shit. I gotta think of it to get it right." But he's like, "That Shaggy climbs up my back and we get attack and hits you like a 10-foot ninja." Sometimes I come down the rafters like Sting at the mall.
Yeah.
Throw old folks to the ropes and chop their throats.
Sometimes I paint my face like a clown. Other times I paint it like Sting and come down the rafters.
Oh my!
I like that song a lot, but one of the things that irked me was because I didn't know who Misery was at the time when I was getting into this. So I'm hearing him rapping in Spanglish basically, and I'm like, I have no idea what's going on right now. Who's this? And I had somebody, I remember I had somebody who was a native Spanish speaker saying that sometimes when Misery was rapping, he was just saying words to say words.
Yeah, damn. I've heard that.
Which bothers me a lot. But no, that track is fucking hard, man.
And I worship Parallel easily. I worship that EP. I wish you had the full length. Because Stimulated Dome is fucking amazing. I love that album. EP, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, Misery came through. Some Spanish shit. Fire track, man.
Oh yeah. I get that chorus. I get that chorus stuck in my head all the time. Like I'll just be walking around.
Cleaver, go.
Jay, insane clown.
Yeah.
So
if you missed it, the name is Twisted. Hell yeah, man.
Then whatever the fuck Misery says.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing. Like Misery basically does what Kurt Cobain did with his lyrics. He, instead of going with actual words and their meaning, he went with what the words sounded like instead of. So he was just making up shit. Work for Kurt, work for him.
The late great old Diddy Bastard gave the clowns and for bitches is a bunch of jumbled words, but
straight up.
Yeah.
Mike Clark released the ODB cut.
Yeah, that'd be so dope.
4 hours.
I want to hear Carnival of Carnix by Esham as well.
Yeah.
Carnival of Carnix.
The fuck's a Carnix? I don't know. You told me to say it.
Well, say Carnage. No, just leave it. It'd be cool. So their whole lore is now built on Carnix. 30 years later, glad they didn't listen to Esham on that one.
It's so dope y'all had Nick Cleveland, man. It's a
fucking dope track.
That's the Posse Cutz from when I first jumped on. Like, that's the original era I jumped on. One of the first ones I heard. I went to Hollow Wicked probably 3 months after fucking discovering them, and went to Hollow Wicked and fucking heard all that shit. Got introduced to Twisted. Didn't know what Twisted sounded like other than $85 an hour. Heard them on stage at Hollow Wicked. When I got home, went and bought Most Tasteless because they were so dope, and then heard this song on there. It was like, man, this shit just keeps getting fresher and fresher. Now they're combining forces like fucking Botron. Like, sign me up for that shit. And then, at Hollow Wicked 98, it was announced Dark Lotus was forming. The fucking Echo Side flyer got handed out. So fucking they were just putting out so much fire shit right then.
That's an era that I wish I lived through, man. I will forever be sad that I'm not as old as some of these other cats, and that I got into this music so late, man. I missed out on so much cool shit. I always try to explain to people who weren't there. There was like an era of danger about it because nobody was 30 yet. Not even ICP or the manager was 30 yet. So think of having everybody there having a 20-year-old's mentality, doing everything. Like there was definitely some danger to it back then. There was reason there was riots and somebody punched a fucking cop horse. Remember that shit at a gathering? Somebody punched a fucking cop's horse. Oh my god, I never heard that.
Yeah, straight up. Jump Steady gives a really good story about it on the 20 Years of the Gathering seminar. He's like,
look that shit up.
because he took all the wrath from it. He's the one that's his name's on the fucking thing. So whenever the ninja punched the horse, that came to him. But yeah, there was ninjas punching horses and knocking them out. There was one of the shows I was going to in Louisville. There was a bomb threat called in, a riot broke out. And ICP didn't play Louisville for a really long time after that. Like, it was almost like how people thought Marilyn Manson was. There was protests outside of Marilyn Manson shows and shit. Even if you think back to like Shockumentary, where that chick's talking about how they're a cult, they're gonna be like fucking Heaven's Gate, take everybody out and shit like that. Like, people really thought that back then. It was fucking crazy. Like I said, everybody was so young. Like, there was juggalos that thought like Shaggy and Jay was gonna kill themselves at the 6 Joker card. There was literally juggalos that had been down for 5-6 years that thought that ICP was gonna fucking off themselves or kill each other, or self-suicide or whatever, or even like do it like fucking Jim Jones style with some Kool-Aid at a gathering. Like, there was people that thought that back in the day. They're literally, you can go back to Angel Fire and read the pages now. I did it for 20 and 17 when I was putting the documentary together. Like, that's how crazy people was back then. It was just younger then. That's all I can say. Everybody's just like, you're naive back then, and everybody was like, even ICP was in their 20s.
Right.
Fucking Jay was 27 whenever Bizarre came out. So imagine how crazy fucking people are at 27, and that's the dude running the shit. And then the Juggalos are all teenagers. 75% are like 20 to 14, even fucking crazier. There's a reason that whenever the dude that was bumping Eminem kept driving through the first gathering parking lot, there was a reason that fucking a wall of Juggalos lined up in front of him so he could no longer drive and beat the fuck out of his car with their fist in their shoes. Like, it was just a whole different mentality back then, for sure.
God damn.
Nobody was telling you couldn't do that. Like, now ICP would like tells you don't shoot fireworks. Back then they would tell you, yeah, hit that motherfucker with a firework. Try to hit the gas tank and blow his car up. They had fucking tour, one of the attractions of the first gathering. They loaded up tour buses of Juggalos and drove them to Eminem's house to go talk shit to Eminem, just to yell at Eminem. It was an event in the booklet, an advertised event. It's fucking dope, man. It was just craziness back then.
Right. Fuck. No, wait. You just did yours, and that was also yours.
Yeah.
So now it's mine.
Yep.
Right. Okay. Am I right?
Yep.
All right. Number two. We're going to 2005 from Fright Fest. Twisted, Tech 9, Prozac, Chris Calico Need Some Help.
First, let me start this rhyme out with some truth. I was shaking and sweating like Colin Farrell in a phone booth. Visions and hell off my brains like flames and constricts like chains. All comes together like drugs to veins. So tell me what the fuck is wrong with me? Even groupie bitches never get involved with me. Cause I hear voices or make murderous choices. Stare at the crotches while I mumble strange noises. Fuck it, I guess it really doesn't matter. Not here to impress them, disinfect them and make their brains splatter. I shovel 2 garbage bags in a shallow grave. I speak in tongues that cut my face every time I shave. A ritual, habitual, so keep the principles. Deadly syllables, spoken 3-second intervals. A mind that's fucked up, so suspect, so criminal. Put you in the ground with the phosphates and minerals.
These boys really need some help. This is true. Cause they want to hurt themselves. For you to scatter brain, they may seem somebody. Awake them from this dream. They need some
I'm the pinnacle of strangeness. I peel away the pain flesh till I'm faceless. Unnecessary anguish, nothing but a voice now bleeding on the track with the belief that if it's dead, it can come back. I ate my soul, I swallowed it whole and stitched up my torso with a handful of staples. The Walking Dead, deaf, dumb, and blind. Stare both of my eyes, but I can see you in my mind.
I tried pills, jumping off of windowsills, but nothing could fulfill my thrill to just kill myself. I won't lie, I really need a lot of help. I won't die, but I really like to try like hell. But now I found a group of people just like me. Tech 9, Prozac, Calico, all strange. See, no secret that I do weird shit. I take a hooker and I make her my bitch, a mouth kisser in the mosh pit.
Oh.
So I heard recently that was actually it was intended to be a Project Deadman track, and whether that was something that was left off of the original album or it hadn't been made or for whatever reason, Twisted got it because obviously it's Mike Clark produced. That sounds like it's for Halloween. Like his instrumental for that sounds a lot like the one that he made for Wicked Halloween, the 2005 Hello Wicked track. But that was the first time I ever heard Prozac, and his voice was unique for me. I'm like, okay, he just sounds like kind of an average guy, but what he's saying is kind of creepy, and I'm digging it. Twisted have solid verses, but then Tech 9 shows up and he's like, hold my beer, I got this shit. And he goes for like a good 40 seconds on this fucking verse, just going off. And that was like, for me back then, that was one of the tracks where I'm like, oh man, I finally memorized this fucking verse. This is dope as shit. It definitely sounds like it's Halloween themed, because Calico obviously has that sick chill chorus that he does. I love everything about that track, and that I think is one of, even to this day, I think it's one of the best collaborations that has happened between Psychopathic and Strange Music. Like, I think it's very, very rare to find something that tops that track personally.
That's crazy, the parallels I can draw between like your experiences, and you talk about how you got into it way later than I did. But I look back at Green Book here in Serial Killers and Tech 9. That's how I first like really understood Tech 9. I was like, holy shit, he just stole the show from Twisted. That never happens. And like you're saying, he did that on that track for you.
I still want to hear that other half of that Tech verse that got lost.
Yo,
so
yeah, he had another fucking 8 bars for that shit.
But on the good side of that is because of that, and Jamie Madrox had to do another half verse. That's how we got the Axis Family. That's a fucking dope ass line.
Yeah.
So at least we got that out of it. But yeah, need some help from the 2005 Fright Fest EP. Fucking love that track. That's my number 2.
All right, talked about my number 1 is the Meat Cleaver off of the original Most Tasteless. Got to be that for me. Like I said, it was my original Posse Cut I heard, I do believe, because I don't consider $85 an hour an actual track. I've gone on record saying I don't like that track. It's just a freestyle track. It's funny, but it's nothing I'm going to say that it was like an actual cut. So I went with Meat Cleaver as my number 1. First one I heard, still like it the best. Like you said, that chorus gets stuck in my head for a week whenever I hear it. Mm-hmm. Shags and Jay, Insane Clown Posse.
My number 1, already talked about. Bizarre, 2000, we going Crystal Ball. ICP and Twisted, just fucking legendary shit. So,
dope.
There you go.
What's funny is I literally switched Crystal Ball with Meat Cleaver. We would have had the same exact numbers as well. I did it right before we went on because I was like, I got to put Meat Cleaver just because it's older. It's got a little bit more OG for me, so I put it at number 1. But yeah, I originally had Crystal Ball 1 and Meat Cleaver 2 as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, my number 1 is actually the number 1 I had for the Forgotten Freshness episodes. It's Graveyard with Project Born off Forgotten Freshness.
Kick to the motherfucking top, nigga. The kid from Project Born and ICP, you here to rock, nigga. Tripping in that graveyard. Bitch, don't try to play hard. It'll be your ass up on the block when I start pulling cars, cause Jay will be the barrier. 2 people be the carrier, and Project Born is one to put a bullet in your area. It's time to wake the dead at prison and they woke up a lot of souls and hope they what the hell with nitty folk. Cause I be dreaming I'm dead and gone and all that fucking tooth on red. Mr. Nitty, 74 to 94, talk 2 to the head. Tryna be hard to get you there, and 9 million to put you there. Punk ass nigga, do your hair and 6 motherfuckers to carry you there. Suicide is service, let's believe that I be hurting you. I'm putting in work, I do my dirt, so call the curtain for you. Bitches, I'm a blast, and no fucking never after. These punk ass niggas keep trying to close the casket on the master. I'm faster, you should've tried to beat me to the chicken, bro. I don't give a fuck if Mr. Nitty R.I.P. and no. Come fresh, get next from a brother on the boulevard. The GRAVEYARD, bitch, it's the graveyard.
Stumping through the graveyard for chilling hippo days. Working the graveyard shift, digging up all the graves, selling all the stiffs to the dead body man. One came back to life, so then I began to run. The decrepit motherfucker was following right behind. I don't know what to do, I think I'm losing my mind. Right then the corpse came jumping out a tree, way out a tree, and falling on top of me. Back on my feet, a zombie in my face, slipped my hands around his neck and tried to put it in a brace. But I know that's not how this shit goes. His head popped up and started Stepping at my toes, I got dead bodies to the right, I got dead bodies to the left. I done take care of one, but what about the rest? Tied me up with some veins, dragging me into the tomb. I knew I had to be doomed, cause I could hear the looms in my head, clear as day, echoing through my brain, telling me something's wrong. Then I felt the pain, it was stacking on my flesh by the pound. But that's what happens when you be fucking around at the grave.
I talked about that before, but I love their flow on that shit. And they like everybody kills their verses on that. Like when they talk about Ringmaster and Dead Body Man, and I just love everybody's. The beat is sick, the flow is sick, the subject matter is dope.
That was we talked about, or I have at least talked about how Twisted was more friendly to hip hop fans. Like a lot of my friends were just hip hop heads, so they didn't get into ICP. But that's one of the ICP songs they would dig because Project Born's so dope on that fucking song. That was one that they'd actually let me bump in the fucking whip, not tell me turn that Juggalo shit off. Yeah. was that track. So I always dug those tracks. That's one of the reasons I dug Most Tasteless. Whenever I heard it, I was like, man, this sounds like the shit I'm used to listening to, with the fucking 90s rap that I came up with. It's not saying they were on the level, but it's got the same emphasis on the beats and the same delivery, but the lyrical content is like ICP, so I connected to that shit even more. It was like mixing the two things that I like. It's like mixing Wu-Tang and ICP together, and then you get fucking Most Tasteless. I was like, yes, give me that.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that song in a hot minute. I think probably since we covered that on my podcast. And I remember I don't think I cared for it back then that much, but I recently just got a copy of Born Dead. So whenever we cover that, I'm going to give it a much deeper listen, and maybe I'll appreciate it more.
Man, that's one of my most wanted Psychopathic.
I was gonna say
it's the re-release. It's the 2000 re-release, not the OG. But I was still happy to get it.
Still good enough. I want that bad. I gotta find that shit somehow.
I was gonna say Mike's ears perked up whenever you said you just picked up an original copy right there, like my pit bull whenever he hears me opening some like potato chips. He's like, "Oh shit, I'm listening now."
I'm an audiophile. I got everything damn near, So
that's me.
He is too. Whenever I was telling you, I was like, "Yeah, this dude's definitely a Juggalo. He fucking rocks the shit like you do."
I follow him.
Physicals.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, fuck. You was apparently following me on YouTube fucking 15 years ago before I've ever even heard of him.
As soon as he hopped in the room, oh shit, I know this motherfucker.
Okay, so I'm pretty proud of myself because none of my shit was talked about this entire time. Nobody had any of these tracks. My number one, which might be the most fucking left field, 2003, from Jump Steady's The Chaos Theory, Ninjas in Action.
Self-explanatory, motherfucker, tell a friend. Got a Glock that bugs hotter than a drill team sergeant. Never been a bitch, always black to get respected. The target is ejected with the venom from my weapon. The deadliest disease when I strike you in the cure. Ain't no time to tell your mama that you love her anymore. Ain't no calling on your homies, ain't no calling on the Lord. Somebody should've told you about fucking with a cord.
It's Von and J, y'all, and I'm out of control. Steady sniping off the California Highway Patrol. Rocking a chemical imbalance in a stolen school bus full of screaming little kids. We doing 90 plus, running cops off edges. Rat-a-tat-tat, I'm busting shots, swerving and throwing kids at them. Jump steady in a chopper and away we get. Watching everybody else falling over the cliff. Falling over the cliff. Falling over the cliff. It's the Triple X baller. I'm in love with your mama, but your daddy be player hating, so I don't call her. I'ma go see my ninja level 4. Cobra Storm Shadow, and you know we slicing at your toe. Mr. Bones, Mad Rocks, who you tripping on? My appetite is planetary when I'm screaming unicorn. Show me who we bombing on, show me who we smoking with. Handle like some lunatics and get into some killer shit.
S-H-A-double-G-Y. Why? Cause I run with a hat chick guy. Let me go ahead and check my watch, so I can see how much time you got before the hatchet that I run with swings down and splits your face. Shit, I understand why everybody wants to be down with me. I'm rolling with Jump Steady. I'm rolling with Jump Steady. I'm rolling with Jump Steady. Psychopathic, we crazy than a motherfucker. ABK in this bitch undercover. No babs, no cuffs, no jail. I just beat you in the head with my 40 into your tail. Detroit, at your family on the scene. Juggalo deputies, bitch, you know what I mean.
I love every goddamn thing about this song. This is a track that never gets skipped when I have it come on, fucking ever. They sample the theme from Chips, of all things. But for some reason, for Psychopathic, for them, when they're using that track, it almost sounds like it's a superhero theme song. And so they're all doing like simple half verses, and it's just them kind of flexing the whole time, which I love. But I think one of the coolest things that they do is after that really awesome chorus that Sin does, Monoxide only gets one verse, and the first half of his verse is to almost no instrumental. Like there's a backing track, but it's not that high pitched, because the instrumental alternates each time. There's a higher pitched part and then it changes key, and it just does that the whole time. But at the second half of Monoxide's part, the high key kicks in, and then whatever instrumental the people were doing the first time, they're on the opposite one on their second run. Like, it's just a cool dynamic that they did, and it allows you to hear it. So whenever the beat finally drops for that high one with the next person on, it just sounds so much more impactful. Like, the only bad thing about that track, in my opinion, is Legs Diamond. Some fucking vocal effect that they put on him, that or he was just fucking rapping through the phone or something. To this day, I cannot understand about half of his verses.
I'm not a fan of Legs Diamond. Like on Super Balls, I hate his fucking verse on Super Balls.
I like Legs whenever he's doing like background stuff or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, his album came out and it was a thing. We'll acknowledge its existence, and that's it, in my opinion. Perfect pitch my ass, motherfucker. Anyways, but like that verse just kind of came out of nowhere, and I'm like, oh, this is dope. It's Legs Diamond. What the fuck is he saying? I can't tell. This shit is like 18 years old. I still don't know what the fuck he's saying, but everybody's got some cool ass verses. Jay saying, "We'll always be underground, not just at first. I'm trying to play myself the fuck out like Fred Durst." Just wait, Jay. In 9 years, you're gonna be on a track with Fred Durst.
Straight up.
But yeah, that track, it's a long track too. And aside from the fact that it has an unskippable skit at the end, which annoys me personally, I love that fucking song. I think that like Jump Steady, as solid as he is as a rapper, everybody else fucking killed that track compared to him. But it's just a fun track to listen to. Like I jammed to that shit, and when we covered it, Shmeev was like, "This track is fucking a bop." It's the shit. So, but yeah, 2003's Chaos Theory, Ninjas in Action.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have expected a track that dope on a Jump Steady album.
Yeah,
until I heard it for sure.
That's why when he said that, I was like, I did a Roan Bone like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's something that you think they would have put on like Psychopathics from Outer Space or something.
Yeah.
Like I would have expected that over like Free Studio, for something that's got everybody on it or something like that. But I don't know. That EP is it's not bad, but it's not like, oh man, I really got to listen to Chaos Theory right now. Yeah. But that track is just too fucking good for me. I love it, and it's my number one.
Oh yeah,
and I noticed that all of my stuff is literally from a 4-year period. like I'm hearing all you guys, and with the exception of Kept Grinding, everything was pretty much in a fairly like small time frame, just earlier than mine, which I think is kind of dope though. Like obviously it's the stuff that you really enjoy, but that's cool to hear.
Okay.
Go ahead and get into some honorable mentions. I like I said, I don't care off my list and put it on my honorable mentions, but it got mentioned. Hound Dogs off Most Tasteless. Thought that was super dope. Thought it was funny. I think it's probably the first time you heard the Jenny voice from Mad Rocks, which is always super fucking funny. Hollow Wicked track I wanted to mention is Pumpkin Carver, because you got ICP, Cottonmouth Kings, and Twisted all together on one fucking track. So I always dug that one a lot. One of the songs we used for this show's intro, I Got 5 on It remix they did. I think that was a super fucking dope. Posse Cut, Homies, of course. Homies is probably the most popular one.
Mm-hmm.
Bro.
Surprisingly, like I hated all the Psychopathic ciphers. I never liked any of them, and for some reason, YouTube tries to play them every time I play Twisted or ICP music videos. Like the next fucking video coming up is the fucking Psychopathic cipher. I don't know why I fucking thumbed them down, and they still do it. But I actually dig Juggalo Love cipher from 2017, like the one where Ouija debuted. I think he fucking stole the show with that one, so I'll put that one on my newer Posse Cutz Juggalo Love cipher.
Oh.
Anybody else got any honorable mentions that
really,
didn't make the list?
The Dirt Ball.
Oh, hell yeah.
Shit, yeah,
This is
that's a
our
good one.
world.
About that.
This is our world.
Yeah, so good.
And when I totally forgot about this song, it probably would have been on my list. But when he mentioned some Hollow Wicked songs, I was like, fucking hell. And I thought of, I love Pumpkin Carver. I love that song.
Pumpkin Carver's dope.
Yeah.
I had speaking of Legs Diamond, I had one where he sings the hook, "Where Do We Go?" which was a Big Hutch track, I think, and that'll probably be the only time Big Hutch is ever mentioned on this fucking top 5 listening show. But I really dug that song.
They never even they didn't actually release that song. It was just a video, right?
Yeah, I don't think that exists on a CD or anywhere you can stream it. Because every time I want to listen to it, I gotta go to YouTube and watch that fucking video from the American Psychos tour.
Yeah,
I love Above the Law, big Above the Law fan, but nah, I don't fuck with him and Psychopathic at all.
Yeah, Jay takes great rappers like Hutch and fucking Isham and puts some restrictions on them that makes them not them anymore. Like giving fucking the dirtiest thing he might have ever did to any fucking artist was make Big Hutch rap over fucking classic Psychopathic beats. So no matter how good that fucking flow you have is, ain't nobody gonna fucking want to hear it because they're gonna be hearing fucking murder. Yeah,
that was gonna be a fucking trilogy, man.
Yeah.
Jay has the problem of he loves and respects these rappers so much that he wants them on Psychopathic. And I get it, but man, just some fucking bad choices.
Yeah.
My favorite rapper in the world that does the wicked shit is Isham, and they give him the fucking boogeyman. This is a motherfucking unholy, nigga. Oh, that bothers me.
I had some honorable mentions. Actually, the three of them that were on my original list were Climbing from Colton Grundy. Where It's Going Down by Twisted on Freak Show. I didn't appreciate that song until very recently. And Kept Grinding was on my original list as well, but I took that off. I also had Twisted, another Christmas song, Christmas in the Hood. That was what? Twisted, fucking Blaze, Wolfpack, Lavelle, and I think ROC. A bunch of people on that. I did have I Got 5 on it as well, but I was like, it's a cover, so is that fair?
Yeah, that's why I didn't have it in my top 5. I really like that song.
Yeah. And then I had Bury 'Em All by Twisted on Independence Day with Twisted with Tech, Chris, and Prozac.
Yeah.
Scream was technically on there. Red Mist and Shit Talkers.
Ooh, Shit Talkers is so hard.
Yeah.
What the Dead Like. I like that too.
What the Dead Like.
Where It's Going Down, that was I thought I was only going to pick one from Freak Show, but I went with Maniac Killer. But I definitely thought of that one as well. That was another one that stood out. Love those fucking verses on that fucking song. The only other one,
I think that Where It's Going Down might have the best 3-6 collaboration that they did with Psychopathic. Like I think that might be the best thing that they've done together, like more than the tracks they did with ICP, personally.
Probably the most authentic sounding to 3-6's sound for sure. Because you could put that on, like I said, that'd be one I'd be able to play in a whip full of hip hop heads that don't like Juggalo shit, and they wouldn't even tell me to turn it off. The only other one I had was just kind of a random one, and it was remixed together, so I didn't know if it would count. But Rock the Dead Body Man off of one of those Mikey Clark mixes. So technically it has 4 people on it, so I wanted to get that one in case anybody had never heard it. That way they can at least go check it out. So I'll give that one an honorable mention.
I popped his Xanax. Another split niggas wigs. Gangsta boot.
That was the first time I heard anybody killing talking about how it sounded so much like 3-6 Mafia, and it didn't sound like it, a Juggalo rap act on a 3-6 Mafia track. I thought Anybody Killer was a part of 3-6 Mafia, and I listened to 3-6 Mafia before that, and I thought ABK was a part of 3-6 Mafia. I didn't know he was part of Psychopathic until later on.
I think that's the first time that Drive-By's ever mentioned too.
Yep,
I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
Because Drive-By was supposed to be ABK, Blaze, and Twisted.
Yeah, and then originally they just dropped Twisted.
Yeah, it's okay. We got ESN now. It's the second time I've said that today. It's all full circle, man.
Before we get out of here, I want to get Mike to run down where you can find the show at. Like we already talked about it at the beginning of the podcast. Really, really different show for Juggalos. If you're bored of just hearing old school Juggalo talk, people talking about gathering, shit like that, this is a new look at podcast from a Juggalo perspective. It's totally different from what you're used to. So go ahead and let people know where they can find your shit at.
Yeah, so you can find my podcast, Juggalo Judgement, pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts that isn't YouTube, because we'd probably get taken off of YouTube for all the samples we play. But Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeart, Podbean, like you type in Juggalo Judgement on Google, you're going to find us. We got Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Juggalo Judgement. If you want to find me personally, you can hit up my Twitter at Mike Spawn, the SEJ, or Straight as Juggalo on Instagram. But yeah, if you check out our podcast, you know, we really like interacting. So hit us up. And if you start from the beginning, I warn you, the audio does not sound great because we were two people huddled in one room with one microphone. It sounds bad as shit. If you don't like shitty audio, start at the Green Book episode because that's where it starts sounding better. And if you get offended easily, well, you know, we got opinions too. It's fine.
I'm a pretty big audio snob when it comes to audio, and I got through the early episodes. I listened to it on a CD player, not through headphones, so I didn't even really notice. So I wouldn't let that discourage anybody. Mike's gonna be hitting up your Instagram and trying to get that Project Born CD off of you.
I just got that motherfucker, man.
Expect a message as soon as we get off here.
That's staying. I finally got a copy of the fucking V Sinister record that ain't going nowhere. Like,
oh yeah, I don't care about that.
Yeah, well, I'm saying that's why I said I'm going to go back to the stuff that I didn't have in the past. Like once we're finishing up 2007, we're gonna have like 7 episodes of shit that we didn't cover before. Project Born is gonna be on there. Intelligence and Violence is gonna be on there. Like all this old shit that now I finally have in my possession, we're gonna actually cover, and I'm looking forward to that because some of the shit I've never heard too. So it's gonna be an interesting perspective for the first time for both of us. Looking forward to it.
Is there anything you're looking for to add to the collections that you can do for the show that you want to put out there in case somebody's watching it and has it? It's like
to whoever, if they fucking hear this, if you're the motherfucker who bought the goddamn Cryptic Collection Holiday Edition for $300 fucking on eBay before, I hate you because I was bidding on that bitch. Anybody has that, or if somebody wants to send me a fucking Wrong With Me single, that's all I really want, and that's I'll be happy with that.
Oh yeah, appreciate you stopping by. As a dope ass. Like I said, you're the one that thought of the top 5, and it was a fun episode to do.
Right. Thank you very much for having me on. I appreciate it. It was fun.
Definitely have you back on in some future episodes. Whenever, like we said, the way that y'all are doing it, your show will be around for 18 years before you get to the end of this discography. So you'll be around for a while for us to hit you up.
Hell yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. You look forward to a new episode of 5 Piece every Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Fago Lovers Network. And that's what you just watched. 5 Piece, we out. Woo!